Thank you all for being here today. I'm honored to be here with my counterparts, the foreign ministers of Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo, to witness the Declaration of Principles for Peace in the Eastern DRC. It's a declaration that establishes a fundamental understanding of regional governance, security, economic frameworks, and end the fighting and allow the region to reach its full potential. The eastern part of the Democratic Republic has seen 30 years of conflict. Durable peace and long-lasting economic development is not going to be easy, but it is important. And having both of my counterparts here, the foreign ministers of these respective countries, demonstrates the beginning of a strong commitment to having the conversations that we need to have in order to reach a resolution.
Hey there, Breakdown family. You know, there's a new scramble for Africa underway. And this time, it's not just about land. It's about the minerals that will power the future. And at the heart of it all, the Democratic Republic of Congo. The DRC is home to some of the richest deposits of cobalt, copper, and lithium on the planet, worth over $20 trillion. These are minerals essential for electric cars, smartphones, clean energy, and even modern weapons. And for decades, Congo's resources have been a magnet for exploitation. First, by colonial powers, then by corrupt regimes, and now by global corporations and competing world powers. Today, the United States and China are locked in a race to control the minerals that will define the next century. And once again, Congo is the prize. So I've got a major story update for you. We've been tracking the DRC's quiet pivot toward the United States here on The Breakdown. In March, the DRC made a bold move. It turned to the U.S. for military help, offering access to its critical minerals in exchange for security guarantees. We've talked about it here on The Breakdown. So President Trump accepted the offer, and his senior advisor, Massad Boulos, was on the next flight to Kinshasa to hammer out the details. Barely 2 weeks after that high-stakes meeting, there's been a major development. Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo, bitter rivals, by the way, who are locked in years of proxy warfare, have just signed an agreement in Washington, D.C., pledging to respect each other's sovereignty and to finalize a draft peace deal by May 2nd. The ceremony was overseen by none other than U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, making it crystal clear who is pulling the strings behind the scenes. And family, say what you want about U.S. foreign policy, but when America's interests are involved, they move, and they move fast. And you know something very sad that this reveals? Just how powerless the African Union is, right? Because this deal right here should have been facilitated by the African Union. But after years of trying, they simply could not deliver. So today on The Breakdown, we're unpacking it all. This new peace agreement, what it really means, how it changes the game for the DRC, for Rwanda, for Africa, and of course, for the United States, and why what's happening right now could reshape Africa's place in the global order for decades to come. Because behind the handshakes and the press releases, a new power map is being drawn right now, in real time. We're going to break it down. But before we do, hey, I want to invite you to be a part of something bigger. And if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and consider joining our membership community where we have more in-depth conversations about the things, the issues that are shaping the world around us. And I'd love for you to be a part of it. Okay, so let's recap the bold move that set all of this into motion. In March 2025, something historic happened behind closed doors. The Democratic Republic of Congo, which is sitting on a mountain of critical minerals, reached out to the United States with a simple but powerful proposition. Help us secure our country, and we'll give you access to the minerals that you need to secure your future.
We are looking for partnerships, and we have established partnerships with many other countries, and we think the United States of America, given its role and influence around the world, is an important partner to have. And we are very happy to see that with the Trump administration, things are moving a lot faster on both sides.
Untapped deposits are worth an estimated $24 trillion. What would you need to happen to move forward with that relationship?
We want to extract these minerals, but also process them, as this would create a lot of jobs. And we want a partnership that will provide lasting peace and stability for our countries, which we need.
It's a dangerous place, the Congo. How would a U.S. company guarantee safety on the ground?
We can build our defense and security capabilities. And I think that the U.S. is able to use either pressure or sanctions to make sure that armed groups who are in the DRC can be kept at bay.
A minerals deal, if it comes to fruition, would benefit Americans.
Silicon Valley companies know exactly what I mean. And so I think this partnership will help these industries develop more and more innovative products.
Cobalt, copper, lithium, these aren't just commodities anymore. They are the lifeblood of the new economy, powering EVs, smartphones, energy grids, you name it. And right now, the world is facing a critical minerals crisis, a scramble to secure enough supply to fuel the 21st century industrial race. Yes, and China controls most of the world's supply chain. And a huge chunk of that supply comes straight from the Congo. So when the DRC came knocking, the U.S. didn't hesitate. Trump's senior advisor, Masad Boulos, was dispatched immediately to Kinshasa. No delay, no bureaucracy. On the table was not just mining contracts, but a much bigger deal. Security guarantees, military cooperation, billions in promised investments, the quiet promise of protecting the Congolese government against insurgent threats, especially in the volatile East. But family, let's be clear about what's really happening here. This isn't about helping Congo achieve peace, is it? It's not about democracy, is it? It's not even about development, is it? This is about strategic leverage. It's about strategic positioning. It's about global dominance. The U.S. needs these minerals, not just for green energy, but to maintain its military superiority, its industrial economy, and its global influence against China. And Congo? Well, Congo is offering its minerals in exchange for survival. It's a high-stakes deal, but it's also a dangerous gamble. Because when you tie your national destiny to foreign protection, you don't just invite partnership, you invite dependency. And history has shown us over and over again, once global powers sink their teeth into your resources, they don't easily let go. And if you need proof of how serious the United States is about locking this all down, well, look no further than what happened just a couple of months after the minerals deal was proposed. The Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda, two bitter rivals locked in years of proxy warfare, suddenly signed a peace agreement. In Washington, facilitated by U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. The agreement, a pledge to respect each other's sovereignty, to halt their cross-border tensions, and to finalize a draft peace deal by May 2nd. The United States didn't just move fast, it moved with precision. Because minerals aren't just about economic growth anymore. They're about national survival. And for the DRC and Rwanda, two nations battered by history, this new peace deal isn't just a handshake. It's a high-stakes chess move in a global game where the pieces are made of gold, cobalt, and human lives. So now I want us to take a listen to what was said at the Declaration of Principles signing ceremony, and then we'll talk about it.
Thank you all for being here today. I'm honored to be here with my counterparts, the foreign ministers of Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo, to witness the Declaration of Principles for Peace in the Eastern DRC. It's a declaration that establishes a fundamental understanding of regional governance, security, economic frameworks, and end the fighting and allow the region to reach its full potential. The eastern part of the Democratic Republic has seen 30 years of conflict. Durable peace and long-lasting economic development is not going to be easy, but it is important. And having both of my counterparts here, the foreign ministers of these respective countries, demonstrates the beginning of a strong commitment to having the conversations that we need to have in order to reach a resolution. I'm proud to work for a president who's made peace, stable global peace, a priority of this administration. And today is evidence of that. He wants to see a peaceful resolution in many parts of the world, but he wants to see a peaceful resolution here, and we want to play a constructive, productive, and important and key role in ensuring that that can happen. And a durable peace in the Great Lakes region will open the door for greater U.S. and broader Western investment, which will bring about economic opportunities and prosperity. And it will also help advance President Trump's prosperity agenda for the world. It's as they call it, a win-win for everyone involved, for the United States, for the Democratic Republic of Congo, and for Rwanda. Our firms are good corporate citizens, American firms, and they'll bring good governance and ensure responsible, reliable supply chains for things like critical minerals that benefit regional governments and our partners and allies as well. This economic development, combined with durable peace, and I would say durable peace comes before economic development. It's impossible to do without the peace. It will also allow millions of displaced people to return to their homes, to safer communities, with new economic opportunities that have escaped generations. The African Union and regional economic communities in Africa have done incredible work, and we need to recognize that in bringing parties together and laying the foundation for these talks. Our government here is focused on energizing these efforts. So we're going to be in close contact with our African Union partners to make sure we can bring this to fruition and to see that this better future reaches everyone. I do want to especially thank our senior advisor, Mr. Boulos, and his counterparts in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda for their vision and for their hard work. Today is a step to building a peaceful, prosperous Great Lakes region, and we look forward to working with everyone involved to achieve this goal. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Mr.
My
Secretary.
apologies. I should have turned to
No.
you. I apologize.
No worries. Thank you. Mr. Secretary of State, Honorable Senator Marco Rubio, His Excellency Mr. Olivier Nduhungirehe, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Rwanda, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today marks not an end but a beginning, a necessary step towards peace taken with resolve and purpose. This moment carries particular weight for the Democratic Republic of the Congo. In Goma, in Bukavu, and beyond, the reality of displacement, insecurity, and hardship continues. For us, the urgency of this initiative is not theoretical, it is human. We signed this Declaration of Principles not as a symbolic gesture, but as a political commitment, a reaffirmation of principles enshrined in international law, and most recently echoed in the UN Security Council Resolution 2773, a resolution calling for the immediate, unconditional, and verifiable withdrawal of all foreign troops from sovereign territory of the DRC. We are clear in the Great Lakes region, peace must come first, followed by the rebuilding of trust, and then, only when conditions are right, the careful reopening of a path to meaningful bilateral cooperation. Too many past efforts have failed because sequencing was ignored and accountability postponed. Peace and development cannot rely only on good intentions. They must be built on responsibility, clear commitments, measurable timelines, and consequences for non-compliance. This is the only way to restore credibility, not just among states, but with the people who are waiting for peace to become real. The signature of today's Declaration of Principles heralds renewed hope. It reflects the U.S. resolve to complement and support regional and international efforts. This initiative brings accountability and draws the hard lessons from past efforts that have failed to materialize. So the good news is there is hope for peace. The real news, peace must be earned, and it will require seriousness, transparency, and sincerity. We welcome the leadership of the United States of America, a country that has shown steadfast support, consistent principles, and resolve in multilateral forums, especially within the United Nations Security Council. Mr. Secretary, Senator Rubio, I would like to express our deep gratitude. Dr. Boulos, also, your extensive consultations across the region have brought nuance, depth, and humanity to this process. And your presence today underscores that diplomacy must listen, understand the lived experiences of those most affected, and seek durable solutions. The Democratic Republic of the Congo recognizes and values this engagement of the United States. We are also encouraged by US-backed initiatives that promote secure mineral value chains and inclusive economic growth. These efforts reaffirm that peace and prosperity are inseparable. Each step towards stability is a step towards dignity, jobs, and schools. This is the promise of responsible investment and a principled partnership with the DRC, a country not only emerging from conflict, but also at the core of finding solutions to global challenges. To our countrymen and women in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, especially in the East, we know you are watching this moment with concern, with hope, and yes, with doubt. And you are right to do so. You have every reason to expect more than promises. You are entitled to actions that measure up to the suffering you have endured. We draw strength from your resilience, from your commitment to justice, and from our shared, unwavering belief that our sovereignty and our territory are not negotiable. We are a nation that honors its responsibilities, and we understand that history, geography, and yes, maybe even fate has given us the neighbors we have. The borders we inherited, as confirmed by the African Union, are permanent and will never change. But beyond these lines lie histories, families, and communities that bind us together. This shared heritage calls for maturity, restraint, and the wisdom to recognize that peace is not weakness, it is strength. Once again, we stand at crossroads, with peace within reach, and we, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, are determined to move forward, building on the lessons from the past. We stand as a nation dedicated to achieving lasting peace. We welcome the support of a strong partner by our side. And I voice the solemn hope that all parties will seize this opportunity, just as we, the DRC, have chosen to. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Minister. Mr. Minister.
Thank you. Good afternoon. On behalf of President Paul Kagame and the government of Rwanda, I want to start by thanking President Donald Trump for enabling a real change in the conversation on how to resolve the situation in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, leading to the signing of the Declaration of Principles today. I thank Secretary Marco Rubio and the United States government for hosting us, and I commend the positive role played by Senior Advisor Masad Boulos and his team and other officials in the significant progress achieved thus far. Today, we are talking about the real issues, the root causes that must be addressed to achieve a lasting peace in our region. Those include, first and foremost, security, as well as the return of refugees. In addition, and very importantly, we are discussing how to build new regional economic value chains that link our countries, including with American private sector investment. Our goal is a secure region, free of violent ethnic extremism, which is well governed. Working together, our region can be an engine of prosperity for all our peoples, and indeed Africa as a whole. The Declaration of Principles opens the door to a definitive peace agreement, giving fresh impetus to ongoing efforts of the Africa-led process under the East African Community and Southern African Development Community, as well as the Doha track, facilitated by the State of Qatar, where we have seen important breakthroughs in recent days. Our common aim is to conclude a comprehensive peace agreement as soon as possible. But there are no shortcuts or quick fixes, and we have to do the hard work to get it done right, once and for all. Rwanda is committed, and we are ready to continue working together with all the partners involved to ensure the success of this initiative. I thank you all.
Thank you. All right. There he is.
Secretary Rubio is signing as a witness the Declaration of Principles between the government of the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the government of the Republic of Rwanda. This declaration commits the parties to mutual recognition of sovereignty and territorial integrity, addressing security concerns, promoting regional economic integration, facilitating the return of displaced persons, supporting MONUSCO, and drafting a peace agreement. These are serious commitments from each side. The Secretary's presence here today as a witness signifies the importance the United States places on resolving this conflict to ensure both countries and their people prosper. We're looking forward to working with both sides to further our existing partnerships and foster win-win outcomes for all.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Make sure you keep your pen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
This concludes the ceremony. Thank you.
So let's break this down. On the surface, this new peace agreement between the DRC and Rwanda looks like a breakthrough. After years of bloody conflict, proxy wars, and mutual suspicion, finally, a pledge to respect each other's sovereignty, a pledge to pursue peace, whatever that looks like. And family, don't get me wrong. Peace is always better than war. But if you look deeper, if you connect the dots here between Congo's minerals, America's sudden urgency, and this peace deal signed in Washington, you start to see the bigger picture. This isn't just about stabilizing Congo for Congo's sake. It's about stabilizing Congo for investment, for extraction, for access. And right now, that's what this deal is designed to create. A lot of nice words were spoken, words like peace, prosperity, mutual respect, sovereignty. But if you strip away the diplomatic smiles, the handshakes, and the applause, what you're left with is a chilling reminder of how power actually works in this world. Because, make no mistake, this wasn't just a peace ceremony. This was a minerals signing ceremony. Secretary Rubio said it openly. Durable peace will open the door to U.S. and Western investment, responsible supply chains, good corporate citizens. Notice what came first there. Stability for business, then peace for people, if there's time for that. It's not peace because justice has been achieved. It's peace because the world's most powerful economies need access to Congo's cobalt, copper, and lithium. They need the mining trucks to move uninterrupted. They need the ports open. They need the minerals flowing. That's the real driver here. Now, listen carefully to the language used by Congo's foreign minister. Words like accountability, measurable timelines, sovereignty, dignity. You can hear the hope You can hear the desperation. They want this moment to be different. They want to believe that maybe, finally, Congo's suffering will lead to real change, that dignity will come with peace, that sovereignty will actually be respected. But family, history tells us to be cautious, because every time Africa has signed agreements under the gaze of foreign powers, those agreements have served the interests of those powers first. And the DRC knows this. Well, do they? The people know this. That's why even the minister's speech, beneath the optimism, you could hear a warning. You're right to expect more than promises. You are entitled to actions that measure up to the suffering you have endured. And what about Rwanda? The minister spoke clearly about building new economic value chains, with U.S. private sector investment leading the way. Translation there, American companies are about to be embedded deeply into the economies of both Rwanda and Congo. We're talking about infrastructure, minerals, supply chains. And family, when your value to global powers is tied to what's under your soil and not the worth of your people, you're still at risk. You're still a pawn, even if the chessboard looks like a different game. Yes, peace is good. Yes, peace is better than endless war, and the Congolese people have been through a lot. They deserve peace and stability. But never forget, real peace is built on justice, on sovereignty, on Africans setting their own terms, not on deals brokered to sell someone else's agenda first. And so the question we must keep asking ourselves here is, will this deal bring true liberation for Congo? Or would it be just another era of quiet, polished exploitation? Time will tell. And we'll be watching. Because family, if this moment is to mean anything at all, if these signatures are to carry any real hope, then it can't just be about extracting minerals, right? It can't just be about cobalt and copper leaving Congolese soil to power someone else's prosperity. It must be about more. It must be about building factories on the ground, not just shipping raw ore. It must be about training local engineers, not just hiring foreign contractors. It must be about paving roads that connect villages to schools, hospitals, and markets, not just mines to ports. It must be about strengthening institutions, protecting rights, and restoring the dignity of a people who have carried the world's wealth on their backs for far too long. So what does all of this mean for Africa? In simple terms, the race for African resources is entering a new, more aggressive phase. The U.S. is no longer just talking about partnerships and development. It's moving militarily, diplomatically, economically, and fast to lock in access before China can tighten its grip further. And if Congo is the model, then what we're about to see across Africa is a scramble not for independence, but for influence, more influence. A scramble where deals will be made, where peace will be brokered, but where African agency will be tested at every turn. Because this moment shows that Africa is no longer the future. Africa is the present, the center of gravity for global power plays unfolding right now. And every African nation watching needs to understand, if you're not setting your own terms, someone else is already setting them for you. And what about China? Well, China isn't sitting still. China has spent the last 2 decades embedding itself in Africa, building ports, railways, mines, and influence, often without the political conditions that the West demands. But this deal between the U.S. and Congo, this sudden American rush to stabilize Eastern Congo and lock in mineral access, it's a shot across the bow. It's a clear message to Beijing. The U.S. is back in Africa, and it's willing to compete and play strategically. But the bigger question is this: will African nations be forced to choose sides? Or will they find a way to leverage this competition to their own advantage? Because the world is coming back for Africa's riches again. I mean, it's always been there. The real question is, this time, will Africa keep the keys? But hey, let's be fair. There is a danger, sure, but there's also a real opportunity. And you all know I love looking at the opportunities in every situation that we discuss here on the breakdown. Because on the flip side of this, if there are pure intentions and if there is a strategic play from DRC and the continent, if there's real vision, this could actually work out for Africa. I've been talking for a while now about how Trump's trade war with China and the global push to decouple from Chinese supply chains isn't just a crisis. It's an opportunity, a once-in-a-generation opportunity for Africa to rise. If the U.S. is now leaning back toward Africa, if they are serious about investing not just in minerals, but in infrastructure, manufacturing, and human capital, then Africa could become the next great global production hub. Think about it. Apple, Amazon, Google, you name it, the tech giants that build the modern world. Instead of sourcing their cobalt from Congo and sending it to Chinese factories, what if they built the factories in Africa? What if supply chains didn't just start in Africa, but stayed in Africa? What if the world's next smartphones, EV batteries, and clean energy components weren't just mined from African soil, shipped to China for manufacturing and processing, and then sold to us? But what if it was made by African hands in African cities, fueling African economies? It's possible. And that's what this partnership signals. But, and this is critical, it's not automatic. It won't happen just because America says nice things. It won't happen just because leaders smile for the cameras and sign declarations. It'll only happen if Africa's leaders negotiate fiercely, wisely, and intentionally. If they set the terms, if they demand investment in value chains, not just raw resource extraction, if they insist on technology transfer, local job creation, local ownership, local empowerment. This is a moment of possibility, yes, but also of extreme risk. Because if our leaders negotiate poorly, if they prioritize short-term political wins over long-term economic sovereignty, then we'll just end up right back where we started. Rich land, poor people, broken dreams, and the cycle continues. But if they negotiate right, and God, I hope they do, if they understand the power that they are holding, the cards that are in their hands, then this moment could mark the beginning of something revolutionary. Not just for Congo, not just for Rwanda, but for Africa. So, where do we go from here? The world is coming back to Africa, not like it ever left, but now we see it in plain sight. They need Africa. The only question is, this time, will Africa rise on its own terms? And hey, before we close, there's one more thing we have to talk about, the African Union. Because as much as the ceremony today talked about peace and sovereignty and African solutions, let's be honest, where was the African Union all these years? The AU has been trying, or claiming to try, to broker peace between the DRC and Rwanda for years. They've held summits, they've issued statements, they've passed resolutions. And yet, for years, the conflict dragged on. The bloodshed continued. Millions remained displaced. Then the U.S. steps in. 2 weeks later, a declaration is signed. Now, we can debate the motives behind the U.S. deal. We can and should question the long-term consequences. But we also have to be real about what it reveals. The African Union, the organization that was supposed to stand for African unity African solutions to African problems has been largely powerless to resolve one of the continent's deadliest conflicts. And until Africa builds institutions that have real teeth, that can enforce peace without waiting for Washington, Paris, or Beijing to intervene, we will keep finding ourselves in this same position, reacting to deals we didn't design, signing onto agreements we didn't control, living with consequences we didn't fully choose. That's the real tragedy behind today's headlines. And it's a warning we can't afford to ignore. So now I want to hear from you. What do you think about this development? Do you think China will retaliate? And if so, how? And more importantly, how do we make this a win-win for both Africa and the US? Drop your thoughts in the comments. You know I'm in there with you. And if this episode challenged you, taught you something new, or just made you think, hit that subscribe button, tap the bell, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're ready to go deeper, join our membership community of changemakers, thinkers, and truth seekers. It's where we unpack the stories that others want. This is The Breakdown. Thanks for tuning in and staying with me. I'm Sandra Babu-Boateng. Until next time, take care. Hey you! Thanks so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and join the family. Also, visit face2faceafrica.com for your daily news and updates on what's going on within the global Black community so you can stay informed.